I have a kind of a rule at home, because I do most of the cooking at home. I have a rule that I don't start cooking until 5 o'clock, and we eat at 6. So if I can't cook it in an hour, we don't have it. So this one started off as one that would take longer, and I've kind of cut it down, mainly by using the frying pan to do most of the cooking. So I'm using chicken. How do you guys feel about joining and doing some cutting up and so on later on? Or would you prefer just to watch what I'm doing?
Whatever you tell me.
Okay.
I'm happy to join in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll cut the chicken myself. Whenever I'm using chicken, I always like to put a sink of water there to start with, because usually as soon as I start cooking chicken, it's up to about here and the phone rings. And the kids don't hear, of course, because the television's going so. Just to cook it through and let it cook. Right? Just turning it over and over.
Do you need a frying pan with a lid?
Yes. I would say you do, because otherwise a lot of the moisture comes off.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it's better to contain it. And you create a small oven inside there, and it's cooking in its hot air as much as it's cooking on the hot surface. They've actually cooked brown at this time. I've started cutting some already. They're here. That's about the size that I want them to be. Right? I'm just going to cut them into quarters like that. I'm going to cut a few more up. I like to chop up some potatoes. There we go. Give you a couple of those. Let me get to my, what do I do with my other? It's twice the size of a dice. So I'll just cut it through like that first of all. And then down in half, and then along like that. So it's a bit like a fish. And I want them all about the same size. And I end up with these little of the potato recipe, and then we can add in other vegetables as they're available. So today I'm going to use some peppers and some mushrooms. Now I'm going to just tip these gently into this water. Just throw those in there. Oh, on the floor. And we'll just stir those in like that, and they get a coating of the herbs as well. I've not added any salt and pepper yet. You can add salt at this point, but I tend not to use very much salt in cooking because you can always put it on afterwards, except with potatoes. What I might do sometimes is, if I think the chicken's not quite cooked through, is to leave that on a very low heat until the onions start to sweat. And that's when they start to go translucent and soft, but they're not fried. But I think that's sufficient for my dish now. Stuff in it. Because I'm cooking a meat dish and a vegetarian dish, I'm going to wash the pan out so that the vegetarian dish is separated from the meat. But if you're a meat eater and you're going to do these two dishes, it's nice to keep that stuff in the pan and let it mix in with the next dish. So into this goes this lot, including all the juice off the board there, and then mix all that in so that the tomatoes are evenly distributed through the chicken and the onions. And you see those just big strands of thyme in there as well.
The colours are amazing.
And I want to spread that out so that the heat reaches everything even. We should finish it in the oven. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now, I'm looking at the amount of potato and thinking I'm actually going to add some more eggs to this, because those potatoes are going to soak that egg up and leave us with nothing. And really, this will cook almost entirely in the pan, and then we'll just put it in the oven for a couple of minutes to set, and then we can try it once we've tidied up this mess. At home, when I'm cooking the evening meal, I like to build in the sort of clean-up time so that there isn't a huge mound of dishes to do at the end of the cooking process, which I always think is very depressing. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm going to pour that into there.
Never thought of doing this before. Totally different.
And I'm keeping the heat low because I don't want to cook it through completely. But it'll start to stick straight away. Alright, I just want to stir that round. And all I want is to start seeing the cooked egg appearing on the bottom there. And then just let it cook. The idea is to let the egg set rather than cook vigorously. And keep stirring it off the bottom like you would with scrambled egg. And you can see all the herbs and the vegetables are stirring into that, mixing around. That's going to form the kind of bulk of the vegetable in the dish. So I'm just letting those drain off. I'll give them a shake in a minute. Any little bits that are left over here, I'm just going to put those in there and they can go to compost. And then I'll slice those like that and into chunks. I like chunks. Chunks are nice enough. Chunks of chicken, chunks of potato, chunks of anything really. So yeah. I'll do the mushrooms in a minute. Right, let's get these on. This hot pan there. A little bit of oil. Just let it spread around. I like frying pans like this because you can get a lot in them and you can put a lid on them and it's like a little oven. And they don't splash onto it.